What's up everybody, it's your boy Duty back again with another video, and today I'm actually doing a viewer requested video on our boy DSP, and of course it has to relate to our boy's pockets, his money, his moolah. And yesterday I did a video where I focused on DSP's tips, and talked about what he made during his streaming week, and I think I believe I ended up saying that he made $1,528 on his tips. And a few people in the comment section actually said, hey, you know, I know that we always focus on tips, but the super chats always go under the radar and no one focuses on the super chats. And when I read that, I said, you know what? They're right. You're right. We hardly ever focus on super chats just because Phil doesn't make it a point to highlight it on his streams. He essentially just jot down the person's name and that's it. There's no monetary amount or anything. But of course, our boy Piece of Peace and his tip tracker tracks everything. So big ups to Piece of Peace. I'm actually going to be using his tip tracker to determine how much money that our boy Phil received during this stream week. Like we already know, our boy in tips, just in tips alone, received $1,528. Now, if we go to Piece of Peace's spreadsheet and we look at the daily summary, which is right here, it's the second tab on the spreadsheet, we can get the super chat gross amount right here. And as you can see, on the 9th, he made $162. On the 8th, he made $71. On the 7th, he pulled in $52. On the 6th, he had a slow day. He pulled in $5. On the 5th, he pulled in $49. And then on the 4th, he pulled in $83. Now, he streamed from November 4th all the way up through the 9th, right? So if you take those super chat amounts, right, and you add them all up, just in super chats alone, our boy Phil pulled in $422 for the streaming week. Now you add the 1528 to the 422 and you get a whopping $1,950. Our boy pulled in almost $2,000 for the week, for the streaming week, because he doesn't stream all week. I think he streamed what, 5 days, 6 days? You know, so he streams about 6 days or whatever. So anyway, yeah, so definitely what I want to do going forward is when I do the weekly review of our boys Phil's tips, I'm going to also analyze the super chat. That way we get a kind of better picture of what our boy is pulling in every week. I'm not going to do the members, I'm not going to do the super thanks. It's just because it's just a pain in the ass to watch them call. And I'm not going to focus on the ad revenue because that's once a month, and essentially we'll be making guesses. We'll be doing guesses on this on the ad revenue. I mean, I can guess based on my ad revenue what Phil is getting, and give you kind of a summary of what Phil might be pulling in monthly. But again, I'll be guessing. So every week going forward, I'm going to probably do it on his day off. I'll take a look at the tips and the super chat, add them up, and let you guys know what our boy is pulling in. And the reason why this I'm doing this video, and I want to do this series going forward, is because I had a good conversation on Reddit about DSP and whether, you know, DSP is poor or whether he is broke. And I think it extended from the That Being Said podcast. There was a discussion about Phil being poor or versus broke, and that all stemmed from Phil being offended that people kept saying that he was poor and that he's not poor. Now, my opinion is DSP is not poor. DSP is not poor. If you look at the term itself, poor, Phil does not meet that description. How can someone making $125,000 a year, right, be classified as poor? The average American makes $50,000 a year, and our boy is pulling in 2.5 times that amount. There is no way he can be poor at all from any definition. Whether you alter the definition of poor, whether you're looking at it from an American perspective versus a, like, say, you know, a third world country, because being poor in America is a lot different than being poor in Africa. You know what I mean? Being poor in America, you have social programs, you have things that prop you up. I mean, I always say this is the only country in the world where the poor population, right, of this country is morbidly obese or obese. You know what I mean? So they're not missing any meals. They may not be having, you know, quality meals, but they're not missing any meals. They all have cell phones. They all have internets. They all have vehicles. You know what I mean? So poor in this country is a very different definition than poor in, say, Africa or East Asia or what have you, okay? So I'm keeping that in mind. So Phil is not poor in any sense. He is broke. I give him that. Phil is broke. And broke is more of a, it's kind of a choice, you know what I mean, of being broke. Because you can actually do something about being broke. Sometimes you can't do things about being poor, you know. It is difficult. Getting yourself out of poverty is very difficult. It's doable, but it's very difficult. Getting yourself out of being broke, that's pretty easy. And typically what that means is you either make more money or you stop spending the way you spend. And our boy Phil spends way too much money, whether it's on junk, whether it's on DoorDash, whether it's on WWE champions. Oh my lord, we know our boy Phil wastes thousands of $1,000s every month on that, you know. If he simply just cut back several of those addictions, including gin, our boy Phil would be okay. He would have a nice standard of living. He wouldn't have to be begging. And maybe he could take a day off or two every week, you know, and not complain about not having enough time to be with his wife and his son Jasper. You know what I'm saying? So yes. So anyway, that's why I want to do this series. So every week we want to hold our boy Phil accountable. We're gonna focus on his tips. We're gonna focus on his super chats. And I think it's great, especially if you're a detractor. It's good to know and have this information so that when you are countering DSP's lies, you can counter it with facts. And these are facts. So big ups to Piece of Peace. Awesome job putting this spreadsheet together. It is an awesome tool. If you want access to it, all you need to do is go to his channel. He has it in most of his videos, and it's in his description. You can just click it. It's free. Essentially, it just pulls up like a website. You can manipulate the data. You can do whatever you want with it. It is an awesome spreadsheet. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.